Hi everyone, welcome to Poll on the Call. My name is Chris Rivers,
And I'm Mandy Mack.
and today is our first episode. I'm so excited, and the topic is
What to expect at your first pole class.
yes. A lot of people have asked this question, and it's a very important question because the hardest thing is taking that first step. So let's get into it.
So what to expect for your very first pole class. So let's say you browse the internet, you found a pole studio near you, and you want to take a class, but there's like a million different names. You've never taken a dance class before. You don't know your right arm from your left arm, but you want to give it a try. So usually you want to look for, this will go for our studio and probably most studios, there'll be a class called Intro to Pole. So that would be probably like the first place you would start.
Yes. With that being said, if you do find a pole studio for you that you want to try their intro to pole, don't go just by that first experience. We'll go a little bit more into that, but don't let that first class, if you didn't like it for God knows whatever reason, stop you.
Yes.
But definitely try that intro to pole.
Yes. So another popular question amongst newbies is, what the heck do I wear to this class? You might see everyone wearing like bikinis and everything. Maybe you're not ready to wear that to class. Don't let that, deter you from coming to class. You want to feel comfortable. So like right now I'm wearing leggings. I've got, my armpits exposed because you'll need them in pole.
Yes.
You can wear like a tank top. You can wear a sports bra. You can wear shorts if that feels comfortable for you. But
Yes.
mostly you want to go for comfort. And the teacher's going to be able to work with, whatever you're wearing. So don't let that be something to deter you from coming to class.
Yes. And that brings me into a very important thing. Feel free to wear whatever you want. Like Mandy Mac says, you can show your underarms. I guess we should answer this by saying that the reason why we wear less clothes is for friction. The more skin you have, the better you can stick to the pole, which is what we want. So on your first class, you don't really need this because you're not going to be high in the air, but you might want to start shedding little by little as you continue and further your practice.
Yes.
So pretty much what to expect for the flow of the class. The flow of the class will be your warm-up, which will be average about 10 to 20 minutes. That all depends on what you'll be covering in class, because that warm-up will do conditioning and body mechanics and warming up your body to do those specific pole tricks for that class.
And then after your warm up, you'll go through, maybe warming up your pole a little bit, some climbs and stuff like that, getting your body prepared for maybe some of the bigger tricks. Usually starting in our studio, we start off on static first. Most of our class will be on static pole, and we'll do dynamic tricks, we'll do spins on static, we'll be up the pole, down the pole, around the pole.
Yes.
But yeah, and then after that we'll do some, spin pole if that's a part of your class, and yeah, depends on what the class structure is. Then ending the class
with sometimes a freestyle, which is always fun. Enjoy that freestyle because you'll learn so much sometimes by yourself, just putting the things together. And then, of course, your cool down. You want to bring down your body temperature and your heart rate from that workout. So a cool down is important, and it will help your muscles and prevent injury and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the flow of a pole class, intro to pole class. Let's get into more of what to expect.
So now we've told you a few things that to expect from your pole class, your very first pole class, and now I want you to erase all of that, because really you should go to your very first pole class with an open mind and just be open to whatever is going to happen, because at first you might be really, really awkward in class and everything might look terrible or feel terrible. And that's kind of normal too. So as long as you're having fun.
Yes, that is the most important. Get your workout in.
But yeah, losing the expectations of flipping around upside down in your first class maybe, and just seeing how your body feels with this vertical stainless steel apparatus.
Yes, the first step is always the hardest, of just going to your class. So like Mandy said, we gave you all those what to expect, what to wear, the flow of the class, different things like that. But also throw that out. Don't expect nothing. Just come in with an open mind and have fun, which is so great that you talk about that, because a lot of people, they come in and they are so scared. And I'm just like, don't be scared. It's such a beautiful experience. You're going to have so much fun.
Right? And even for me, like my first class, like I came in, I thought I was going to be so good.
Yeah.
And I was not.
Same here. Like, I was like, yes, I got this. I'm the only man, but I have muscles. I think I could do it. No. Having muscles does not mean you will stay on that pole, let me tell you. So it is a humbling experience,
Yes,
but it is so awesome.
Yeah, you have to like leave your ego out of this.
Yes. But it will go up as you get better.
Yes, you'll learn so much more about your body.
Yes.
You'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm strong.
Yes. You'll be able to accomplish things you could probably at this time not even dream of.
Yes. So take that first class.
Yes. The hardest part is taking the first one. But with that being said, I always tell my students, if it's their first class, all of us instructors have different methods of teaching. It might not work for your learning style, and that is okay. Do not let that deter you. What I would advise, try another class with a different instructor. They might have a different teaching style. They might offer you something that really helps you. So don't let that one class stop you from not doing it again.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Everyone's got their own style, and you know, not everyone is friends with everyone. So there's no reason why you should have just like one experience with one pole instructor and be like,
yes,
I hate pole.
Yes.
Like you'll probably have a better experience with someone who's more like you.
Yeah, exactly. So this part of the episode, we talked about what to expect for your first pole class, which is pretty much nothing. Don't go in with any expectations. Just go in with an open mind and have fun. So now we're going to take this chance to answer some questions from you beautiful people out there who came on our Instagram and asked some good questions. So this first question is, how would you explain the diversity in pole community? It was along those lines. So I'll start this one off. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, not every place, every location is as accepting and diverse as it should be. One of my favorite quotes from Mandy Mack here is, pole is for everyone, but not everyone is for pole. If all studios should be open and accepting, even in my certification, we didn't care. They told us you don't care the age, the size, the shape, the color, sexual orientation, sexual gender. Like, that's not the focus. And that's how it should be. Pole is so diverse, and that is why I love it, because I have seen 60 and 70-year-old women do incredible shit that I could never dream of doing. I have seen people who outweigh me by 100 pounds, and I'm a big boy, invert with better lines than I could ever hope for. So the diversity in pole is come as you are. Pole is for everyone. If you do go to a studio that is not open and accepting, that is probably not a studio I want to be a part of, and you don't want to be a part of. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, along that vein, unfortunately, there are the studios that you're not going to feel comfortable in or, feel welcome in. But if you have the want for pole in your heart, yes, and you then that means that you need to open that space for people and make everyone feel safe, yes, and continue the legacy of pole having all sorts of different styles and creations and inspirations from everyone. So
yes,
keep it evolving.
I love that she said that. Like I didn't even think about that. If it's not working for you, go make it work for you. Open your own thing. Get certified. It's not very hard now. You can do it online, and you can change people's lives.
Yes.
You really
can.
I
hear that all the time. Everyone will be like, "Oh my gosh! If pole wasn't here." That's how it was for me too. If pole wasn't here, I don't know what I would be doing.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So changing people's lives.
Yes. So I hope we answered that question on diversity. That is tough because pole is truly for everyone, but sadly, not everywhere is as open and accepting So I hope this advice helps you.
Yeah, I hear about that too. Like there was one time, someone was in the parking lot, a girl, and she was like, "I'm from Georgia." She's like, "I'm waiting for my friend here, but I saw your pole studio." She's like, "There's nothing like this down from where I am. Can I just come in and like walk around and look around?" And I was like, "Of course." And like I was like, if you have it, maybe you should open a studio down there and spread the love. You can take the online courses and just pole is for everyone.
It truly is. So please don't let ignorance and diversity stop you from poling. Please, please, please show the world your beauty, your dance, and your creativity, no matter who, what, where you're from. Thank you for that question. We're going to go on to our next one.
Okay, so the next question you have all asked us was, what does my fitness level have to be to start pole? And usually out in the wild when I'm trying to convince people to come into here, they'll just look at me and they'll be like, "I don't have upper body strength," which neither did I when I first came into this whole thing. But you don't need to have any sort of fitness background. You don't need coordination. You don't need dance background. You don't need to have lifted weights. You can literally come into the studio from the couch and granted, it might take you a little bit longer to do things, but you're still gonna get total benefits of everything, and you're gonna have so much fun. So yeah, you don't need to be any sort of fitness level. And I've seen people who have no dance background or anything be the most creative, beautiful dancers, and it just makes me so happy.
Yes. Along those lines too, even if you have the strength, it doesn't mean you're gonna be able to do it.
That's true.
Because I came in thinking, I'm like, yeah, I can do push-ups, I can do pull-ups, poles, easy. It does not work that way.
That's true.
So it definitely does range. You can be no strength at all to strong as an ox doing other things. You have to come and put the work in. Mm-hmm. Another thing I will say, with any fitness program you enter, if you have diabetes, heart disease, or high cholesterol, talk to your physician, of course. That is most important. There is no required fitness level, but of course you want to be safe.
Yes.
And it does actually bring me up to something, because someone actually messaged me when we got this question. I can't remember her name. Lord forgive me if you're watching this. I will put you in the podcast notes, I promise. I believe it was Terry, a 60-year-old who messaged me of her pole journey and how she had diabetes, and she consulted her physician, and he warned her that certain things you might not be able to do, like don't stay upside down too long because it might affect your sugar level, things like that. And she's 60 and she's still poling, and she did not let diabetes stop her. She went to her physician, she got checked out, she learned what she needed to, and from what I saw on her Instagram page, she is incredible.
Amazing. That's awesome.
So you really don't need any fitness level. Come as you are, as small as you are, as skinny as you are, as big as you are, as weak as you are, as strong as you are, as blue as you are, just come.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's another thing too. Many people will ask if the weight limit of the poles is. There's no weight limit of these poles. They're not going anywhere. Everyone's gonna be fine on these poles.
Yes.
On a stage pole where it's not connected to the ceiling, there is a weight limit, but for the studio poles, they're gonna be just fine for everyone. So yeah,
don't let it deter you.
Yeah.
Please don't.
And then on another thing though, if you let's say you do come from the couch straight into the studio and you really love pole and you're having a good time, don't overdo it. It's kind of a slippery slope, because you'll be feeling real good, and then the next day you'll be like, wow, my forearms are I can't lift anything.
Like me today.
So you have to take it as any new fitness thing. If it's new to you, you have to ease into it.
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Pay attention to feeding your body protein and stuff like that, so you can.
And water.
Yes.
So many pole dancers do not drink water, and it is crucial.
Yes.
I Anything else on the fitness level?
No, I think that's it. You will see your fitness level increase.
Yes, even after like 1 or 2 classes, like it's such a joy. I have students who have continued and they tell me I only come once a week and the changes I have got is incredible. So imagine if you up it.
Yes.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, and like pole is a journey too. Like you'll see your body changing the more like you stay with it, and your body will just, you'll be like, what the heck is this now?
Yes, you'll notice it in your clothes first.
Yes.
Don't go by the scale, go by how your clothes fit you.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like when I first started pole, I was 170 pounds, and I'm 160 now. I didn't lose any weight.
When I started pole, I was 240. Now I'm 185, and it's muscle based on what the scale
it's all
says.
muscle. Yeah, I went from like a size XL to a small. So like the scale is not going to give you like a...
Go by the clothes. Thank you for that fitness level question, because it is very important, because a lot of people, it deters them from coming in because they're like, I have no fitness skills.
Yeah.
So what? Doesn't matter.
You definitely learn here.
Yes, you definitely learn.
I don't like the gym.
This pole is the gym. So thank you for that question. We're going to go into the next question. Our next question that we're going to go into, that we were asked on our Instagram, is, will I fall, and what do I do if I fall in my first couple of pole classes?
Aww. Well, for your first couple of classes, the likeliness of you falling is pretty low. You probably won't be, taking your 2 feet off the floor for more than 1 second. So you won't be flipping upside down. However, if you do feel uncomfortable, sometimes even the front hook, back hook spins feel a little bit scary. You don't want to bust your knees. You don't want to fall in just a spin because you don't trust your arms yet. You can definitely use a crash mat or something underneath you for even as a beginner. And I like to do that in my beginner classes. Like I'll just right away be like, let's put a mat underneath us. And then, you won't feel, so self-conscious as you're like, I can't do a full spin because I feel like I'm going to smash my knees into the floor. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. And if you do stumble, it's not going to hurt that bad. And just get back up. We all stumble. And the higher you up, you might fall. I've had some pretty bad falls. But don't worry about that in your first class. If you do stumble, just get back up. It shouldn't hurt. I won't promise you that because I have no idea what that teacher's teaching you.
I know. I feel like pole, you know what? It's a dangerous sport.
It is.
It's, the more often you do it, the more chances you have of injuring yourself or falling. If you're always going to be scared of that, maybe you can take pole and overcome your fears. Or if, it's just too much for you, then put a crash mat underneath you under every single instance. There's nobody going to be like... Crash
mat. And if you're at home with a home pole and you don't have a crash mat, couch cushions, bed pillows, air mattress.
Definitely something underneath you.
Because I have fallen in these poles and I have been okay. But I have fallen in broken home poles and I have cracked a rib, broken a toe, and dislocated shoulders. So really, if you don't have a crash mat and you're not in a studio, use something.
Yeah, even if you fall from 5 or 6 inches, you could really hurt yourself. You can get a concussion, especially if you're alone.
Yes.
But you won't be alone on your first class.
No.
Instructors will be around you.
These are our stories because we've been doing it longer. You should not have to worry about that. It is important to know. And that's why we talk about it. But your first pole class, your second pole class, even your third pole class, let me stop, because some people stay in intro for 3 months. So
which is fine.
Which is definitely okay. But if you're in that intro class, you should not worry about falling from high heights or getting hurt. You definitely should not. That was an awesome question. Thank you for asking that. So that pretty much concludes our first episode for today. Yes, we survived. It was fucking awesome. We were nervous, but we made it. There were more questions on our Instagram. We are going to answer those. I promise you. I have it written down in my lovely little notebook here. But they're not for this. They're not for this topic that we're talking about today. They're a little more advanced. So
we'll spend more time on that.
Definitely. There were some we do want to go into a little bit real quick. Hand grips. Hand grips. Do you want to go quickly into that real quick?
Yeah. For your first class, like you might find like, oh my gosh, I'm slipping down this pole. How do you guys deal with this? My hands are sweaty. My arms are sweaty.
Yes.
You can use hand grip, and sometimes the studio will have some hand grips you can try on hand. Sometimes you can try whatever the teacher's using.
Yes.
I have a few that I use for my own body, and they change for every season, every sort of situation that's going on in the studio. I have different ones that go behind my knees, different ones for my armpit, for my arm.
We actually do have an upcoming episode which will pretty much be devoted to like hand grips and sticking to the pole. So stay tuned to that. We'll be going into the beeswax, the dry hand, all of it.
For your first class, if you are slipping, know that there's hope for you.
Yes.
And it's fine.
Yes. And another question we did want to touch smallly on, but we will talk about in the future, is what happens if certain body parts slip out, like a nipple, a lip, asshole, or things like that, or for guys, penis or ball. It happens. You should not have to worry about that in your first pole class, because your first pole class, you should be covered up to get your workout in. But as you further your practice, it happens. Just put it back and go on with your day.
Yeah.
I have had slippage during performances. Just slip it back in and go on with your day. It just happens, unfortunately, with the art. We'll talk more about it.
Yeah, and usually, usually people don't even notice, and you're going to be the only one that has noticed.
Yes.
Depending on how embarrassed you feel about it, you can, go off to the bathroom and come back out.
Yes.
But it's just something that happens. Like you're doing the Titanic, your like butt is squeezing the pole, like you lost your bottoms, like they're gone.
Yes.
But you got the trick, and like that's really all that matters in the studio. No one's going to be annoyed, that you've fallen out of your outfit.
Yes. And if they are, the instructor should probably pull them aside privately and say that's not allowed because it happens.
Yeah.
No one should ever feel a certain way because something slipped out.
Yeah, these are just bodies. These are our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will talk more about that. But we are going to conclude this episode on what to expect for your first pole class. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know we packed a lot of information, but it's good information, and it'll keep you busy for like 30 minutes.
And hopefully make you inspired to try your first pole class if you haven't already, or you can, share this with a friend.
Yes.
And hopefully they'll come and take pole class with you, and let us know how you liked all of our answers to your questions, and give us some comments.
Definitely.
Next time.
And hit up our Instagram for any questions you would like us to talk about in future episodes. Or email us. That will all be down in the bottom. Our Instagram handle, our email, our website. And we also have some freebies for you. We have a free beginner ebook, which I'm so proud of.
It's awesome.
It is quite a few pages of beginner spins, moves on static pole and on spin pole. There will also be a paid version coming out later in January, but sign up for that free version. The link will be on the bottom. And we also have a free e-course, which goes hand in hand with that free ebook. It's pretty much 7 days of emails where you'll get a video or two with a little workout, a little pole trick, and then go on with your day.
Yes, pole is life.
Yes, pole is life. And personally, I would love to get emails every day regarding pole. Like, yes. But,
and you can be like, I'm going to do this today. And then tomorrow you can be like,
yes. And both of those will be beginner products for our paid products, which you will see in the upcoming. We will have courses and even bigger ebooks for intermediate and advanced polers. Stay tuned for those. But these are just for beginners, or even if you want to touch base on the beginning, because sometimes when we advance, we fucking forget the beginning stuff. So check out those free links at the bottom. You can also check out resources we have on our website, which will also be on the bottom. Thank you for watching this episode. My name is Chris Rivers.
And I'm Mandy Mack.
And we are from Pole on the Call podcast, and we are
signing off.